Okay, and we are live. So, hello. My name is Reena Deepthi Annabelle, aka Mummy Imperfect, and you're listening to the Sisterhood of Mummy Imperfect, the weekly podcast where I explore womanhood with the help of my fabulous guests. So, at the end of the month, I do one of these episodes, the Power Panel episodes. That's when I get together with my friends Rami and Gireth, and we take a look at female focused news stories from the last few weeks. And so we've known each other for over 25 years. So nothing is off limits. You're going to get 100% unfiltered girl chat. So keep it locked here. Here is what we're going to be talking about over the next hour. Aging in Bollywood. Are the Bollywood stars getting younger and younger? Do they feel the pressure to look young more now than ever? And then is that filtering down to us? And also, what is up with the 20-year age gaps between, for example, Shah Rukh Khan and some of his leading ladies, Exhibit A, Deepika Padukone in Pathaan? We'll be talking about explicit messages, dick pics. So women are constantly sent these kind of messages now. A lot of women blame themselves. Are we looking too sexy in our Instagram pictures? Are we sending the wrong signals? There's a new documentary coming on tonight about it. So we're going to be talking about that. Also, Marie Kondo, the queen of clean, has said that she's given up on tidying after the birth of her third child. And some of us gave up even before having kids. So we're going to be talking about that later too. And if you're tuning in live on YouTube, do feel free to get involved at any point. Just drop us a comment because we always love to hear from you. So, ladies, hello.
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 Right, let's get straight into it. Okay, have you seen Pathaan yet?
No.
No, I haven't seen it, but I did get like sort of a. We went to watch Avatar, and I saw it sort of advertised in the cinema, around the cinema,
Oh,
and I
okay.
did
Oh,
get like, oh, okay, new movie, sounds really good. Really felt like watching, like a big Bollywood blowout movie. But then I saw it. I saw a clip of it actually just last night, and I just thought, oh God, I don't know if I can be bothered. I don't know. Maybe the trailer was just too like.
Full on.
yeah.
I've seen it. I know what happens, and I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the zone for it, but
I get the
who
feeling
knows?
that if you're there, if you commit to actually going and you sit there, I think it's one of those where you will have a good time and it's quite fast paced and everything apparently. But have you seen Shah Rukh Khan? You must have seen him in the trailers and all the pictures and
Yeah,
everything like that. Okay, so what are we thinking?
I think he looks good. He looks good. Yeah, I don't think like I don't sit there thinking, you should be doing a dad role now, relegated to the dad
No,
role.
no, and he
No.
doesn't look like it. But however, some people have been like, Shah Rukh's looking really old. It's like he's 57. Like, what is he
Mm.
supposed to look like? You know what I mean? Like face wise and stuff. It's like
I
he's
thought he
also,
looks good. I thought he looks good.
I think he
He
looks
looks
good.
after himself, right? He looks after
Yeah.
himself. I think he looks good. And actually, what I did like seeing was Dimple Kabadia's in it as well. So that's good. I'd like to see more older women, right? There's certainly older men still hanging on with their bare hands, right? I'd like to
Hanging.
see yeah, but I'd like to see more, more older women, and we don't really get to see that in Bollywood, right? Because like you said, they have to be at least 20 years younger before they're. But you are seeing that more and more now, like I what was that? There was a show that Juhi Javla's done. That's
Hush,
looked
hush.
really good, and
Mm.
yeah, Hush Hush,
Yeah.
and then and Madhuri's done lots of good stuff. So
She has.
they are, yeah, they are, and that's nice to see. That is a change that's good in Bollywood.
Mm.
And that's I think with like more varied storylines, just the amount of content that's coming out, and this content has places to go, right? So you've got all your streamers and all that kind of stuff. So it is changing, and I do like to I do like some of the changes I've seen, but I feel like just by watching the trailer of Pathaan, it's going to be like a typical Bollywood movie. I feel like it's gone back to the typical. Like I
Yeah.
like all these like really out there, interesting, character-driven stories, and I don't know if Pathaan's going to be it, but I should watch it first. So let's see.
Yeah, I feel like I'm ready to watch one of those movies again because it's been a while because I've been watching these kind of like quirky things, and I think I would like to watch that, like a proper, entertainer. But anyway, I wanted to point out that, a few fans, well, a lot of fans are comparing Shah Rukh Khan's look in the film to Amitabh Bachchan's look in Mohabbatein. Now, Mohabbatein came out in 2000, and Amitabh Bachchan played the role of Narayan Shankar, and he was 58 years old. Now, Shah Rukh Khan is 57 now, right? So bearing in mind he's just done Pathaan, this is how he looks right now. I mean, his body probably doesn't look like that because he's obviously killed himself to get into that shape, right? But when you look at the fact that Amitabh Bachchan, 58, and he was playing like somebody who was like really like looked quite old, and in his just the way he behaved, the character was quite old as well, right? So and then you got Shah Rukh Khan, shirt open, abs, flaunting the abs and stuff.
He always has his shirt open. I mean, even 20, I'm sure he had one in Mohabbatein as well.
He did,
through the sheer shirt.
But what are we like? Are we seeing like more of this? Like, like the actors like Salman Khan, who is everybody's bhai, and he's always playing like, the main guy, the love interest and whatever. Akshay Kumar, again, like does a lot of films with young actresses and stuff. Always like looks after himself, looks amazing. But is like, it wasn't like that back then, right? Because they would be doing dance roles by now, like back in like, 2000s and stuff, right? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think
I just keep thinking of Rishi Kapoor in the jumpers.
Kapoor in those jumpers, mate.
With Divya Bharti. Yeah.
So actors have an age range, and that depends on who you are as an actor. So let me if you look at the Western equivalent, look at Goldie Hawn. She looks really good for her age, and she always has done, which allowed her to play a lot younger roles. If someone looks and can get away with the part, even when you look at all these teen rom-com series, like what's that one, that Riverdale, for example, all the actresses are way older than the characters they're playing.
Yeah.
And if as a good actor or actress you can pass that off, that and make it believable. And as viewers, we have a responsibility. We suspend our disbelief. If it's a good production, if it's a good show, you'll watch it and you'll believe it. You buy into what's happening. And as long as that doesn't distract their age and how they look, and then doesn't distract from the storytelling, it's fine, isn't it? Really? Shouldn't it be fine?
No, it is absolutely fine. It is fine. But I don't know. Sometimes it's a bit weird. It's like, that whole thing of like, oh, we're supposed to be looking this way. Like, for example, Jennifer Lopez, did you watch Hustlers ever? Like, she's literally got like a Diamante G-string on and looks amazing. She obviously, I've read, she killed herself to get to that level. And you would kill yourself too if you would be paid several £million to do that, right? But we're not. We're just normal people who eat chips. Okay. So, but then is that kind of, that's great for them. But is that what you have to do now to get a role and to be relevant, to like literally train your body where you've got like 2% body fat?
I think, so I don't think that's necessary. I think in Bollywood, you're churning enough actors and actresses to get age appropriateness out there. I'm not saying in terms of whatever role he's playing that a 57-year-old person shouldn't be in that role. It couldn't be part of that character, whatever it is. When we're talking about age appropriate, like you talk about Amitabh Bachchan. What was that other one, Bagban, when they did Hema and Amitabh Bachchan did And in terms of the age appropriate storytelling and having the right actors in that role, why aren't we making films which focus on things other than young love? Why can't it be older love? Why can't it be those? So more of that kind of stuff. So like Dimple White, it's brilliant. Brilliant she's in this film, and I think it's a big pull because lots of people want to see what she's like and what she looks like in this film. It's doing well for the casting reasons as well. I mean, John Abraham hasn't been, he's back obviously with this as well. He hasn't been around doing loads of things, but so there's that curiosity, I think. But I think that if you see that as a pressure, it shouldn't be putting pressure on people.
Also, people like Shah Rukh Khan and the other Khan, Salman Khan, Akshay Kumar, they're producing these movies and starring in them, right? So yes, they are getting their body into they're killing themselves to look good and whatever, but it's not as if like Jennifer Lopez, she would have had to have been cast. She would have been cast in that role as Hustlers, right? She is trying to make herself sort of like a, an actress. Exactly, employable, viable, whatever. And yeah, it sounds like that. She just have to go. But then Shah Rukh Khan has produced this movie.
He could have cast anyone in it, and he's still making stuff off it. So it's that's that age appropriateness. I think is for me a question mark. And the whole thing about pairing him, opposite Deepika again, that age gap. They do. That's fine. That's what I'm saying. If it passes off on a screen, fine. But the issue is, in Bollywood, there is a huge pressure to look good. And some of the clients that I work with who are based in Mumbai or Delhi or out there, their standards of beauty are very different to British Asians. Yeah. They still have traditional Western views. So there was a period in the 90s and the late 80s where the voluptuous curves and things that were still accepted in Bollywood, even then, went out of the window, and they started aspiring to be like Western models. The Juhi Chawla winning her pageants back in the day and doing her stuff wasn't enough to win them Miss World and Miss Universe. That's what they aspired to. The effort they go into putting people forward for those pageants is huge, right? So there's a way and a look. And when it comes to here, when I've just recently I was talking to a potential client for a shoot for a fashion thing here, and it's an Indian client who want to do a UK-based shoot. But then the models they wanted to choose out, they have to be tall, thin. We'd like a white person, even though they're marketing it in India. It has to be this. We still like tall, thin. They have to be like this. They have to be like this. We don't want to be. They don't have that kind of inclusivity element in their outlook. Still, that is that Western equivalent of whatever is what they thought was good looking in the 90s is still there. They still have to accept that inclusivity is good, curves are good, that's good. There's a lot of learning to do there. So my issue there is like, it's fine if they work on screen. We don't mind that. If it works for us, right? But thing is, in terms of the community out there, maybe in India, they're very judgmental if it's going to be anybody. If there's a celebrity couple that's going to have 20 years age gap between them, they're extremely judgmental of that. So why allow it on screen if you can't accept it off screen? That's my issue.
Very true.
I mean, I think if it was like the other way around, right? If it was a woman that was 20 years older than the man.
Well, Malika and what's his name?
Is she 20 years? Yeah. Yeah, I know. But then obviously
they get so much rubbish. Right, exactly.
Arjun
she looks good.
Yeah. Exactly. She does look good. She looks amazing. And, they're happy. They seem to be happy. So
yeah, they both look good together. Yeah.
But they get a lot of rubbish for it.
Yeah, people making fun of them. Even like, don't do this, right? Because it's a waste of your mental energy. But if you've ever read the comments of like Indian news sites and entertainment sites, like things like, there was a clip of Malika Arora walking down a ramp. The comments so nasty, like, oh, ye buddhi kahan se aa gayi, and all this kind of stuff. Like, she's an old woman, what the hell is she doing? She can't even walk. Look at the state of her. Let the young people have a chance. It's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, really, like, mean things. Even about Priyanka Chopra, quite a lot of mean comments.
You've just switched it the other way around, in the sense of like an older woman and a young. So that's bad enough. But remember, we talked not so long ago in another panel that we did. We brought up Sushmita and her older other half, and people judging her. So this is what I'm saying. Their age gap isn't 20 years, but people already being nasty about it. And here on screen, you're saying it's okay that we can accept a 20-year age gap between that. And that's what I have issue with. The double standards.
Yeah, I do too. But I mean, I thought it was weird in Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. I was a bit like,
I did too.
Like, she's a newcomer and she's 20 and you're like 40 something. And even Rabbane Banai Jodi, because Anushka Sharma was very young. That was her debut movie. She was very young, so she starred opposite Shah Rukh Khan. It worked and it was really nice and stuff. But it was like, she's like so young. Like, if it's okay, like, you know, like Salman Khan should actually be acting opposite people like Madhuri, like as a romantic couple. That's actually normal. That's normal. I'm not saying that everything else is abnormal, 10 years here or there, 15 years here or there, but that's actually, you know, a few years difference. It's okay to show that on screen. The most realistic pairing like that was in the Fame game with Madhuri and Sanjay
Mm.
Kapoor, when you know, with that series on Netflix where they played a
Yeah,
couple.
husband and wife. Wasn't
Yeah, and
that so nice to see as well? It was really
Yeah.
good.
And
especially
that's the
since they
thing,
acted
the
together like in the 90s, right? And it was nice to see them as
older
mature
acting to that.
actors,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it was
But
nice.
that's the thing. There aren't stories that are coming out that are age appropriate for age appropriate couples to be. It's always about falling in love and that generally happens when you're younger, is what they're saying. And that's what that's the theme in Bollywood, and falling in love at a younger age. So it's got to be a younger woman. They don't do the falling in love in your 30s and your 40s. They don't do, if it has to be a falling in love, or they don't focus on a story about a couple going through something else,
Yeah.
where you
It's
could have
definitely
age appropriate couples.
it's definitely happening in TV shows that
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen. It's
TV
definitely
shows,
happening
yeah.
in TV shows. Mainstream cinema, maybe not
It's a
so
lot
much.
less
There's
in
still
mainstream.
those, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And there, you know, Reena, just write that script. I want to see Salman Khan and Madhuri, please.
I will, you know
Not
what? As soon as
someone,
I
not
get someone
someone.
on the phone, I will put it to him. Don't you worry about it.
No, no, no. Sorry.
Um, okay, so listen, I'm gonna move on to talking about this documentary that is coming on tonight on BBC Two, 9 p.m. and it's available to watch from today on BBC iPlayer. I watched a little bit of it this morning. So it's TV star Emily Atack, and she is basically talking about how she is sent hundreds of explicit pictures and messages every day. You know, dick pics and horrible things about what men want to do to her, like really horrible stuff. And she's asking what motivates the men who do this and what can be done to stop them. And so, you know, in this documentary, she's said that she's received explicit messages on her social media accounts for years, but their quantity and their tone intensified over lockdown, and they became more sexually aggressive. And you know, even schoolgirls get them. She spoke to schoolgirls as part of the documentary as well, and like 16-year-olds saying, "Yeah, you know what? As soon as we got a phone, we started getting these messages, dick pics, things like, yeah, do this for me, do that for me." I'm like, what? You know, it's horrible. It's
Yeah, and what's crazy about that is that's not other school age boys. It's coming from like older men on the internet. Yeah, exactly. I actually follow it when I was on Instagram. Actually, I've not been on it for the last couple of months, but she did follow Emily Atack, and sometimes she would share some of the messages that she used to get, and oh my god, I mean, and in that moment, and for maybe sort of half an hour with you, kind of stays with you, that you're like, oh god, imagine receiving something like that. And it does make you think, what are you doing? Like, what in the hell? Like, and to get those things every day for years is really
quite distressing, isn't it?
it's
Like,
insane. Yeah, exactly, really insane. And then, like she said, that that she started questioning whether this is what she's putting out there, right? So she's on Instagram a lot, she's in photo shoots, or doing her recording for her TV show, and she posts beautiful images of herself, and not necessarily raunchy in any way, just what you normally get.
It's not like OnlyFans content. It's just like her in a bikini or her in a low cut top and stuff. And she has said as well that like her thing was like, I have got blonde hair and big boobs, and this is my like a feature, and I'm proud of it, and I'm going to use it to kind of get me attention and stuff. She did do that, and remember, like she got famous from the In-Betweeners when she played Charlotte in the In-Betweeners, and then she, that perfect kind of pretty girl that everybody fantasized over. So that was the character that she played, and I think that kind of image just stuck with her, right?
With people, yeah, it's kind of haunted her, really, because I think people think that that's who she is, and that's what that she'd love this and she'd find this really funny. Maybe that's why people are. But she also said in the article I read not long ago, actually, was that she's messaged some people back, and to say and they've gone and they've given, one person I think did reply back to her and say, oh, because oh, I can in it, and you'd love this or whatever, and one guy just went dead completely.
The arrogance, kind of, some of them just have
exactly.
the arrogance
like,
that you must want it, or
yeah, exactly. But the messages are harrowing. And I did
It's disgusting.
it is pure filth. And isn't that interesting then, that that during lockdown, when people couldn't go out and about, and it's just so seedy, isn't it? That it's worrying though. It's seedy, and you just think, oh God, how disgusting. But you know, I've got 2 daughters, one now with a mobile phone, and I do worry about her being exposed to this sort of content. And even today in the news, children as young as 9 are being exposed to.
Well, that news story today, it's 25% of all primary children will have seen porn by the time they leave primary school.
Yeah.
Right? That is the stat.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
And then I think you've got to stop, and we've got to think and take. And I know, this is like obviously a very emotive subject for me, particularly, because at the end of the day, as a society, we need to take responsibility. Once upon a time, and when we were growing up, there was probably one TV in the house, maybe one in our mum and dad's bedroom or something like that. These days, we didn't have mobile phones. Everyone has their own TV these days. Everyone has, their own laptop, their own whatever. It used to be a house PC before, like a desktop, a big chunky thing, which was in display of everyone
in the living room.
And then we didn't have mobile phones. Now just think about how many ways there is to privately access stuff without anybody watching you. So like kids, if they're curious, they're gonna find it, right? People are talking about it, it's in the news, they're curious, they are now going to find it. Growing up at 14, 15, what would we have done?
Yeah, we obviously you would look at things,
No, but what would we have done? We wouldn't have gone on our mobile phones because we didn't have one to look at that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? We're curious. We want to find out more about it. We didn't have things instant. And maybe in some ways that was better that we didn't, because when kids are curious and they don't know, so education's good, but that curiosity in terms of doing things and looking up things by yourself can lead to dangerous things, can lead to dangerous ideas, can lead to, all of that. And just the amount of stuff that you have on the end of your phone or on your laptop or being sent to you on socials and things like that, it's really, really scary. But the dick pic thing bothers me. I think in my life I've been sent 2, 3.
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you been sent them? So okay, you've been sent a few.
Yeah, I've had 2 or 3. And
is this people
you don't ask them,
like randoms that you don't know?
Random or somebody who vaguely knows me or whatever, that kind of thing. So it's not like something that's been asked for or desired by me and it's sent, and you think, well, hello. That's why I'm sorry, but why would a man think that I want to see that? Because they're not. I'm sorry. If guys think that is the manliest thing about you and the nicest thing that's going to turn a woman on, you need to look twice. Look at it yourself first before you send what it does for you. I swear, it's like, what? Like,
I know.
Seeing a man fully naked isn't a turn on. I mean, I don't know, but it's just like, it's actually quite funny. But the thing is, but why do people feel safe sending them online? Like, as a female, us sending a nude to somebody is quite scary, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, revenge porn.
Why don't they feel vulnerable? Because it's bloody hilarious. It's in terms of like, if you look at it, like what the, and if they think that's something that's going to give them kudos, I'm sorry. But the scary thing for me is the fact that they think they're allowed to do that, right, is the scariest thing. And why it's not being taken seriously is another issue. And we've talked previously about that flashing incident we experienced while at uni, right?
That was the first time. I think that was the first time I saw, like
you said, I remember, and that was traumatizing enough. But so I always think of the dick pic versus that scenario, and you think, why isn't the dick pic thing being taken seriously? And is it? And I always think, is it because people think he's not in your close proximity, he can't touch you, he can't rape you, he can't whatever.
No, but it's a small step, isn't it?
Well, no, exactly. But I'm thinking, why? This is my. I'm not saying that that's okay if people are thinking that. I'm thinking, but why are people thinking that it's okay? Why are people not taking it seriously? Why is
or
every
don't
single
see the trajectory of like this sorts of behavior that might start by sending a dick pic, but then
exactly?
would elevate into, I don't know, flashing someone,
If he's
but then
yeah,
elevate to attacking
if he
somebody.
thinks it's okay to do that on here, what's it going to stop him doing it outside in a club or in a private place or on the
Yeah.
bus? Or do you know, it's not okay. What makes you think you have the right to do that?
Yeah.
And
Maybe you enjoy like women flashing you or something like that, but that's their choice to flash you. But again, I'm not kind of okay with that, but necessarily either. But I just don't know, and I just think
And
the other
also
thing
is how normalized it is, like just sending
exactly
just sending nudes between
nudes
like
and
you know, like how, and yeah, how maybe girls, you know, some of those girls, they're shocked, and that, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we get this all the time, but it's almost like, oh yeah, we get this all the time. It's like we're
but
so
like
nonchalant about it, whereas for us it's like, oh my god, like we, you know, to us it
yeah.
would be like, what the hell, you know, we would react to it really differently, but it's just normalized for this younger
But just
generation,
because
unfortunately.
as a society, just because we might be desensitized to stuff like this now because porn is
Yeah.
everywhere, right?
Mm.
And things on like, you know, you can watch stuff. It might not be porn, but you know, dodgy, not can't call them dodgy, but whatever. You can watch erotic stuff on like Netflix and things like that, and 50 Shades and all that kind of stuff going out that gets people's imaginations going, that raises the bar for people on what they think a sexual relationship or sexual intimacy is, when in reality it's probably very different. You know, that your first experience probably isn't going to be what you see as somebody's first experience on in a film or anything like that. It's that whole, we become so desensitized that as a society, do we generally think it's okay, or that's why we pass it off? Why isn't every dick pic being reported?
yeah, because
Yeah.
you know, for people,
You know who's sending it to you, you've got an
yeah,
identity.
exactly,
Why?
and it should be, because you know, for people that don't know, like we were at a bus stop, right, when we were, I don't know, 20 or something, and then we got flashed, okay, and we reported that to the police, didn't we? Okay, so obviously these people who are sending dick pics are, like you said, a lot of
The
them, most
online equivalent. Yeah.
yeah, it's online. Yeah, yeah, it is, because that's flashing, because nobody asked you to do that, and it's quite distressing, and nobody wants to see it. You know, they should be reported as well. But what I was
It's the
thinking is that, like,
sheer amount. They haven't got the time or
yeah,
the
But that's
capacity
what's
to
scary though.
investigate
are these
every dick
are they
pic.
normal people? Are if it's this many people, because you know you don't see that many flashes, right? And you never have seen that many people flashing at bus stop. It was a few, and if people still do it, or maybe they
No,
just do it.
because it's gone underground, isn't it? Because like you said, we have a tablet or a device. You know, everyone's this behavior. I'm not saying that you don't have flashes anymore. Of course you do, but a lot of the behavior and more has gone sort of not
You
underground,
can do
but
weirdest shit
in the
online.
convenience of your own bedroom. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the warmth of your own home. You don't have to be cold at a bus stop.
tablet stop.
Flashing, you know, flashing in January. You can do it in the warmth of your own
Freeze
house.
your dick off. It
On
probably
like, yeah,
deserves to be frozen off,
exactly,
but
exactly. But the thing is, like, are these then quite? I'm sure, like, not everybody sending dick pic is some hardened criminal sex offender. They're
Yeah.
like normal people. There must be normal people.
no,
Are these normal
there must
people?
be no, there's dick pics probably sent consensually, right? That's fine. That's between them. But the stuff that's sent to you that you don't want to see, because obviously I'm still single, and yeah, you get disturbing stuff sent to you when people realize you're single. And
Yeah.
even things that people say, even if you don't get a dick pic, are quite
As
disturbing.
in messages.
Yeah. And the thing is, I used to get them on Facebook like ages ago, and I just blocked people immediately back then. But that's when I first started radio, like we're talking about 15 years ago. And like, you know, if you look at my stuff, I just immediately block people. I don't have people I don't know on my Facebook. So I have a lot of people on my Facebook, but I know every single one of them.
Yeah,
So
same.
yeah, but it's that kind of thing. And I've always had it that way. But then random people who, you know, right at the beginning when Facebook was kind of seen as a dating thing almost, at that time you'd get idiots trying to like add you. But sometimes people can say some pretty vulgar stuff. And if you say no, thank you, I mean, I don't know if I should say this at the moment. So recently, like a guy approached me because he liked me, which was like, okay, I was polite. I was like, thank you, but no, thank you. But he constantly tries to send messages. So I was, you know, you like, no, thank you, but no, thank you, whatever. But you know, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, makes, you know, so you just block them. But you think, are they watching? Now for me, it's like, are they watching me somewhere else?
Yeah,
I'm
and
a
for
radio
you,
presenter.
that is a yeah.
You feel awkward. You feel like, you know, I'm very careful about what I have online, and I always have been. But obviously, as a radio presenter, there's a certain amount of accessibility to me knowing that I do a show from a certain place at a certain time of the week, and people can wait for me.
Yeah.
You know, you have that
I mean, it's
hanging
like
over your head.
it's like, you know what you just said about like people know where you are at a certain time and stuff. This I don't understand this about people sharing on social media. Why do people go abroad, right, with their whole family or by themselves? I'm on holiday in the other side of the world, you
My
know,
house is empty. Yeah.
and I
Yes.
know it's like you know, like people they know where you are. They know your house is empty, mate. Like, why do you think that this is a good idea to do that? And also like a lot of stuff that is very specific to where you live, or even like children in their school uniforms. Like, do you think it's okay for people to see pictures of your children in their school uniforms, which are easily identifiable, and know where you live? Like, they, you know, I don't know. I just think
But
how.
you say that this morning on the news, on the BBC News, there was a piece on like the Hillsborough case, and what I was listening to, I think it was the bishop speaking, and behind him in his room, and because you'd probably know, like every time I do a Zoom or anything, I'm in this position on this place. Nobody has ever seen any of the rest of my house or my room or anything in it. Right? Even when I was used to be talking to Bobby, it would only literally be this space. I was very private. I'm very conscious of how much things around me give me away. And the thing is, I've always been like that. It's not because of what happened to me. I've always been that way. But he had his family pictures up behind him, grandkids, everything, the full whack. You could, and I literally, I took a picture and I zoomed in. Right?
Like the stalker you are.
No, but it's just, it's an understanding. But for me, it's like explaining, because I knew we were doing this, right? For me, it was like, okay, how much detail can I get if I take a picture of that
and you could see everything?
You can see everything, right? And people sit there with their books and things behind them, and you're not the queen. Well, R.I.P. Queen, sorry, but you're not doing like the King's Speech at Christmas where you've got your photos of your family there and you need to show the whole world you have a family. It's no one's business. And sometimes I think, you know, we've talked about Emily Atack and all that stuff. The thing is, we're talking about 15, 20 years ago, stuff that was normal to not see, it has become normal to see. So the fact that people, men, women might feel titillated by seeing certain stuff, it might have been saved for the beach. Like you wouldn't normally see me in a bikini everywhere. Like I wouldn't be we couldn't post that. You couldn't see anybody in a bikini anywhere unless it was in the press, right?
Yeah. Like on the beach, you would see the normal people. Like no one was posting.
And that was only when you're on the beach. So you don't care, you know, that kind of thing. And now those kind of pictures, even though they're normal to be on the beach in a bikini, is absolutely normal. The fact they're being posted in other people who might not be party or privy to seeing them, because you're in a beach, you're in an appropriate place to wear a bikini. It's fine. Everybody's wearing one. So you don't feel out of place. But then when you see it on a screen, when you're sitting at home on your sofa or in your bed, it might be a different scenario. Do you see what I'm saying? In the sense that you're not doing anything wrong, but by people posting these things on their socials these days, which everybody can see, whether you're doing something wrong or not, how things, you know, people wouldn't normally have seen that stuff. They're family photos once upon a time, or they were your photos once upon a time, and they were people who on the beach with you would see you. Nobody outside of that was going to see you. Except for who you showed those photographs to. Like you remember me when we went to Tunisia, we were in our bikinis and we took loads of pictures and things. No one's seen those pictures.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God. But apart from us two and whoever we wanted to show them
whoever we wanted to show them
to.
Yeah. But then what are you saying then? Do you think, yes, you're saying it's the byproduct of, you know, you taking
I'm not
You're doing
saying
an
it's the
Instagram story,
person
you
to
look
blame
amazing.
for posting those
No,
pictures,
exactly. So
but
who? So should
it's
she
the
be?
context. Like if people get titillated by seeing stuff like that, that stuff wasn't around 15 years ago for people to get
Yeah.
excited about, shall we say?
Yeah,
And
we
if
could
they're in
pay
their
a mag
bedroom
to have,
looking at it,
yeah,
But they
and
can, but
they
anyone
fine.
could listen. Anyone, people can look at a picture of you fully clothed on the toilet if they want
and
to,
still be
right?
like that. Yeah, I know, but
You know what I mean?
but
However, they probably do. But
thanks for
do
the
you
word.
think? Do you think that do you think that we as women have that we need to think a bit more about what kind of pictures are we putting out there? And
No, because we can't
No,
also think
no.
about
You
how we
can't
can
censor
dress.
that. You can't
No,
censor that.
no,
What
I
I'm
don't
saying
think so.
is we're just exploring why, aren't we?
That's
And
the
the
same
thing
as
is,
should I wear the short skirt? Should I?
yeah,
Is it too
no,
much
no.
cleavage for
But
who?
listen to
Or
me.
like,
Do you know how many? Do you know how many men, right? Because I've heard in other, Vox Pops and things that I've watched, how many men say, "Oh, but you're wearing all this, so what do you expect? Oh, but look at these like short skirts you're wearing. Obviously, people are going to get riled up and stuff."
yeah,
And
then they
like, but
need
it's
their
okay.
mother to tell
but
them
no,
otherwise.
but no, hang on. If you're at the beach taking a picture of yourself on the beach, right, in your bikini, you're not going to put a jumper on in the bikini and take a picture of yourself on holiday and put that up on Insta, right? If you're wearing a bikini on the beach, you're going to take yourself it's appropriate for the beach, and you're putting that up. Now, all I'm saying is, once upon a time, we didn't have Instagram, and those pictures of people wearing appropriate stuff in the appropriate place weren't there for everyone to see. So there's more titillation for people. So if people get titillated by that, fair enough. But when you're sitting on a beach with loads of women around you wearing bikinis, right? It's a as a man, it's a different scenario when you're in a public place sitting there. But in a bedroom, seeing that on someone's Instagram might be, it gives you more opportunity to feel excited, shall we say.
create your own disgusting fantasies if that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're playing out your fantasies in the middle of a beach with loads of people around you is a different scenario.
You'll be on the sex offenders register very quickly.
If you did that, exactly. And this is the thing about social media, that if we want to have social media, we need to understand these things are going to happen, and therefore
the increased sexualization of society because of social media. Is that what it is?
well, I don't think sexualization of society. I think being like, we can keep using this. I'm just going to keep using this example of being on the beach in a bikini because that's appropriate attire for a beach.
You need a holiday.
No, yeah, I do need a holiday, but I'm just saying that's appropriate attire for the beach. So if you shared a picture of you that, and that turned a man on or somebody on, that's not your fault. As in, everyone knows that's appropriate for the beach. We all know that's appropriate for the beach, right? So you can't say to somebody, oh, it's up to what we say to people they can and can't post. But if you're doing it in a sexualized way, then yeah, you can understand why people will criticize, whether they have a right to or not. But I just think for us as a society, understanding why these things happen, and because there's an element of human nature, and if we're gonna give human nature something, anything, if you feed something, it's gonna grow, right? And if it's like, and if you're feeding it lots and lots of these pictures, then that element of human, whatever that brings out in humanity, is going to grow as well.
I think, right, that then well, I don't think, I know that there is a lot of girls now, like younger than us, who it's normal for them to post pictures of, if they've got like a big bum, for example, the back shots of their bum, or like the boobs hanging out or whatever. Like it's to go out on a night out, a lot of people will be wearing these things. I mean, they used to wear stuff anyway, but do you know what I mean? To put these pictures up, and a lot of people are looking for validation. Even Emily Atack herself said that she was looking for validation. Oh, you look pretty, oh, I really want your number, and all this, it made her feel quite good about herself, as a lot of people want validation now. Sometimes I personally think, if you want to be like, oh, do I look good in this bikini, or I look good, I want to share it with somebody, send it to WhatsApp it to your friends. I've had friends WhatsApp me pictures of them in a bikini on holiday going, oh, I just want to share my bikini picture with you, or I felt really confident wearing this. And I'm like, amazing, you look amazing, keep wearing those bikinis. But it was just as a thing. And I think that is, because sometimes you do want to be like, oh, does this look
Yeah,
nice, or I feel
but
good about myself, I want to share it with somebody. That's okay. But I really think that, I think people are actually not thinking about the fact, okay, you're 21 now, but this is going to be around for a long time. Do you want to be like 31, 40 with somebody with that image on their phone, and thinking, very
think about
familiar,
your
overly familiar with this image of you in a low cut top
think about your
and
kids.
riders?
But think
Exactly.
about it's like, think about your kids and they're going to see it. Think about do you know, that kind of thing in the future. It's, if it's there, people's kids are affected by stuff they see online of their parents. You speak to like famous stars and things like that, about stuff, and it will be, some of them don't like it. They don't like their parents doing stuff. There's fallouts between celebrity parents and kids because of certain things like that. But and I think as you become a parent, I remember when I was growing up and stuff like that, I was very conscious in teaching him certain things about what's normal, what's not normal,
Mm.
and that kind of stuff, and respect,
Yeah.
but but he's still able to, like, when we watch a film and something and there's a good looking woman come up or something like that, and he still is able to have a laugh and a joke with me to say she's got big boobs or something like that, or something like that. But which is fine, because he's doing it in a safe environment, and like, whatever, you just fancy her or something like that, you can have that whole thing. But I'd rather I'd rather be, and then sometimes if you as growing up, if you said something like that and it was wrong, you're like, you can't say that, but you can say that.
Yeah.
So what's right, there's a fine line between what you can and can't say,
Yeah.
and
In terms of
sometimes
making other people feel comfortable.
uncomfortable, and there's an education there, because if you see, again, there's lots of that kind of bad laddie behavior out there, and if that's going to be their role model, if that's what they see and they think that's okay, that's what they're going to learn. So I think as parents or as role models to young kids or teenagers, we do have some kind of responsibility in kind of saying, yeah, do you know something? It's all right to like a woman. It's all right to say she's pretty or she's hot or whatever like that. But the line is here. Be careful when you're around women. That I think that's important. And likewise with women as well. I know I went to a girls' school, and I know, like, when the boys used to come in sixth form, some of the girls could be like, I felt sorry for the guys when they used to walk through and the girls would shout from the windows, and it would just be like terrible. And, that's like, obviously these days it's a form of harassment, but it is just kids being kids, like that, hormones running crazy and stuff and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, equally it can make a guy in a sea of women or girls feel just as uncomfortable too.
100%. So this documentary, for anyone that wants to watch it, is on tonight at 9 p.m. on BBC Two, and it's available to watch from today on BBC iPlayer as well. So I think it's good.
Gonna watch it.
Yeah. So just moving on now to Marie Kondo. So this is a bit of a lighter subject. So she's known as the queen of clean, organization and everything. And she said that she's kind of given up on tidying since the birth of her third child. So she's, like I said, she's a world-renowned Japanese decluttering expert. And now her family home is messy, in her own words, and tidying up is less of her priority. I mean, I completely identify with that, because I do have 3 kids, and I don't know if I should say too much about the state of my house, because I don't know. I don't want people to think I'm some kind of tramp or something. So I'm going to go to you guys first, right? What is the acceptable level of mess that you're okay with? Have you kind of given up everything being in order? Because obviously, Kira, you live with your whole family. Romy, you've got 3 kids as well. Okay, tell me.
I think living with adults is worse.
Oh, really?
I think living with adults that you can't tell off
Yeah, you can't.
is worse. With a kid, you can
true.
say "Da-da-da-da-da-da." So my room is in order and my room is clean, and that is my comfort clutter. I've given up with the rest of the family. Like before lockdown, my Friday was my cleaning day. So because I worked from home, so Friday morning I would clean everything, hoover everything, sofas, wash the tiles in the bathroom, clean all the light thing. That level of clean. For me, yeah, with kids and stuff, as long as things are clean, messy is okay. Kids are kids. I
Yeah,
don't have an issue with
that's what
that.
we do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Messy is I can't be bothered to put this toy away for the 15th time today. It's
exactly.
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And it's
So
not the
we are
most
messy.
difficult thing to put away either, is it?
Actually, no, exactly. And the thing, yeah, good for her. Yeah, she's got 3 young kids and has gone, oh, you know what, this can just, and you as well, Rena, right? You can like, you know what, I'll start clearing up or stop being bothered about it in about a year or two. I think I'm there now, actually, because my youngest is a little bit, it's about 3 years older than yours. So we have now come the other side. We've done the whole, okay, the toilets are clean,
Yeah.
the bath's clean, the sinks are clean, everything else is an absolute bomb site. That's okay. Mixed in with dust and whatever. No one has any allergies, thank God. If they did, I'd be screwed. But now we're trying to teach the kids to look after their own space, right, their own bedroom. So in the mornings their shirts have to be up, the bed has to be made, there can be nothing on the floor because I might decide to vacuum, and I don't want to vacuum round stuff, right? So we've come through the other side now, and actually it's really nice to have a cleaner house when we're all on board. So I've said to them, I'm not doing it by myself, I'm going to give you the
Why should
skills
you?
here to so no, we've come through the other side, and actually I find and in that stage of my life it was fine. I was too tired to look at the mess. Now kids are older, I like to actually have a bit of space, have a bit of and that whole thing about the whole premise of her show, right, the whole declutter and it does free your mind. It does.
Yeah.
And it allows you to think about other things, because you cannot think in a messy space, I feel. So you give up to it when you need to, but then I actually now like the
I do too. Like, I go through phases where I'm like, you know what, just leave
Let it
it,
go.
Jalid under, it's okay, we're gonna carry on leading our busy lives. And then one day I open my eyes and look around and I'm like, oh my God, why am I living like this? Like, even because sometimes, like, I'll get the kids to do the housework with me on a Saturday. We clean the whole
yeah,
house, and
me
I
too.
like things to be all tidy at the same time. I know some people are like, "Oh, I'll do a little bit every day," but then when you don't do that, then when you finish the last thing, then the whole
Constantly
thing is.
doing it.
I'm like, so
Yeah.
I like to sit in a clean house, even if I sit in that clean house that's clean top to bottom. If I sit there for half an hour, because that's literally what it is. Half an hour, I'll have my nice little drink, sit there. Oh my God, it's so clean. Somebody will eat a biscuit. It's all over, right? That's what happened. And even like, so this weekend was quite busy, so I did a bit hoovering, this that, and I couldn't be bothered to like force the children to do it and shout at them and say, help me now. They did bits and bobs, but we haven't done the whole big fat clean. So then I'm having to do bits. So even this morning I did a workout. Before I got in the shower, I looked around, I was like, nah, no, this just won't do. So before I was about to have a shower, and I'm talking like literally I'm there with just a sponge and a thing in my hand, like cleaning everything before I have a shower, because that's the only way I was gonna get done. Because I'm like, I can't, no, I just gonna have to do it now, or it would never
Done
get done.
that.
Because like, even sometimes I look at things like, I look when I'm in the kitchen, right? I'll look at the outside of the cupboards and I'll be like, do you know what? Someone needs to clean them one day. Obviously, that's not gonna be me. And then when I'm out of the kitchen, I forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside, out of mind. It's a good thing
Outside.
sometimes, but the thing is, like, it's really good when you have kids that you can, like, when Amma was younger. Yeah.
Oh,
You could
teenage
like
boys.
motivate
Lovely.
them to do stuff and be like, okay, I'll do this, you do that, let's work as a team. And they just did it. Like, forget everybody else. Now, like, mom and dad like spoil him, like, no, you shouldn't be doing this, and that whole with their older mentality, the generational difference and stuff. It's like, my mom still expects herself and me to do everything. And it's like, what are you teaching them? Like, literally, what are you we had this conversation last night actually downstairs, because he's like, because we've got work going on downstairs and it's taking forever, and that's everyone's given up on cleaning, whereas me, I'm like, I don't mind the mess, just still be clean. I still want a clean kitchen. I want food to be made in a clean kitchen, right? So that kind of thing still. So everyone's like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, yeah, you don't. I said, you can have old stuff, but it can still be clean. And you can, he said, no one. I said, hang on, before lockdown. And the thing is, sometimes you need not have people in your way. And especially you've got adults around you, and especially like the generation above, when you're doing something, they're like, oh, no, not like that, like this, and they just make it long. Whereas I'm just going to get the ladder out, climb on it, clean it, come down. And it's like, they start coming up with their solutions and like, oh, why are you doing that? And like, have you not realized I've been doing that and like since before lockdown, like for however many years, because you're not home. And it's like when I do it, because it's stress-free cleaning without you and it's quicker. But yeah, try vacuuming the house.
Yeah. It's just slowing down, that lockdown, right? That, I mean, I wasn't really particular. I think that's where things changed actually. And having like, I guess a couple of years ago.
Worse when I was fine.
I don't know, you're spent more time at home, right? So now we're just like, and for us, we're still spending quite a lot of time at home when, Sat isn't really fully back to work. Actually, he goes in once a month, which is like, so we do spend a lot of time at home, and we have kept that going where we're actually, I do have 5 minutes here and there to quickly do stuff. But yeah, I do get the kids involved, and I actually get my son involved more than I get my daughters are little, but they're not really that little. I mean, but they're lazier, and I have a willing teenager who will strip all the beds and put them back on.
God
and
bless
you
him.
know,
You're so lucky.
So good. He's so good. He's so good.
I do have to quite like force my kids sometimes, be like, oh, we all live here. Why am I doing it all? You live here as well. Because sometimes they will be like, oh my God, no one's washed my jumper. And I'm like, okay, so learn how to
Did you
wash
put it in the laundry?
I'm not your butler. I'm not your butler.
I was on the phone with a supplier the other day, and he was like, on Saturday morning, so we missed a call on Friday, so we decided to work on Saturday morning on something. So we're on a Zoom and doing stuff, and he was like, hang on. And he was just like, I said, what are you doing? Because I just need to teach my kid how to put the washing machine on. And he was like, I'm not going to put it on, you're going to put it. And he was like, really good. And I was just listening to him teach. And then because he's also a part-time DJ as well. And he goes, then you press the play button. And I'm like, said like a true DJ. But it was... well, the rest of us say start. But it was like... But it was really good and wholesome to hear that. And he's like, okay, so I'm going to go off and do my work. And when that's finished, you'll see it's a spin. He was teaching how to just put it on a spin cycle, on which it was. And then he said, after that, it comes out the dryer and you put it in there. And he was like, okay, I know how to use a dryer. And I was like, good. That's so cool. And that's so good to be teaching them that. Because they might make a few mistakes with a few odd things going in that shouldn't occasionally, but that's part and parcel of growing up, right? You live and you learn. If you don't make a few mistakes, if you make that mistake once, you're never going to make it again if it was your favorite top, right?
So Marie Kondo, don't worry, your decluttering days are not behind you.
I am curious. I didn't have a chance to like Google. Like, I wanted to find pictures of her messy house.
It's probably like a pair of socks on the carpet or something. Like
So I was wondering, it's like what she defines as messy compared to what she was before.
Exactly.
I was curious about that. Like, her messy compared to like my messy. Or
her messy is probably my clean, because I like you. I'm like hygienically clean, bathrooms clean. I have a thing about floors. I cannot stand dirty floors. Like hoovering them. I
walk barefoot and everything. So yeah.
I can't. It makes me feel a bit ill, like when I see dirty floors. And I remember like once we went to like view this house, and then we had to take our shoes off to go and view the house, and the floors were so disgusting. I'm like, how dare you have the audacity to ask me to
take your shoes off?
I now have to go and put my socks in the incinerator because your floors are so disgusting. So I've got a thing, like I have to have clean floors. But everything else is like, if there's the laundry, mate. Oh, there's piles.
That's my worst chore though. Oh, laundry's my worst chore.
I can't take a selfie in this house without someone's pants drying in the background somewhere, because there's so much stuff everywhere, or like some random piles of clothes. So it's really
mine are so lazy. Instead of like, if something doesn't need washing, because lo and behold, some things don't need washing every time you bloody put it on, right? So if it's a hoodie, hang it up, do a smell test, Otherwise, they'll just chuck everything in the laundry, because how easy is it to take your clothes off the floor and in the laundry,
Put the
rather than
laundry. Yeah.
smell
My
check, fold, put away. So I've just started chucking things back out of the laundry. I'm just saying, sorry, I did a smell test,
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
then
not
once it's
going
been in the
to
laundry,
25
I have
times.
an issue
no,
with that, because once it's been in the laundry, it's been with the other dirty clothes.
it
Don't give it.
depends. It depends how
Shouldn't have put it there in the first place. Now you have to live with it a bit stinky until it is really stinky. Then I'll wash it.
you have to
So,
live with your dad's sweaty gym kit being chucked on top of it.
yeah.
Have
No,
it.
well, I'm pretty on it. Now it's just like, before it's even gone downstairs, I do a quick look at the upstairs laundries. It's fine.
Okay.
It's not so. And also, more fool you. Make that mistake once, isn't it?
That's the thing, yeah. It's like making that mistake once. You should let people make mistakes to learn from.
I know,
like,
they all, and because they learn everything about they're eco warriors at school, right? They're
Yeah.
being taught all this really, really good stuff, and so I just throw it back at
Put it
them and
into
say,
practice at
how
home.
eco
Yeah.
is throwing your really thick hoodie in the wash every time you wash it, because you know that's not very eco, is it? And then you can tell that it's like, oh my god. With the youngest, the oldest just go, yeah, whatever, wash it, please.
I do think it's nice to make kids aware of this and help and stuff as well. I said I go through phases of saying, no, everyone's got a rota, you need to do this and that. Like, sadly, we're not on it all the time because we're too busy. But there was a time when my little one, and she was actually 5 at the time, like she's 6 now, but I was saying, you can choose between these chores. So she always chose cleaning the bathroom. She just had a thing with like wanting to clean the bathroom. And then I was a bit like, oh, she's not really going to do it properly, but okay, fine. And she'd proper put her heart and soul into doing it. And you might think that then I cleaned it again afterwards because she was 5. I didn't. So the bathroom got cleaned to a 5-year-old standard every week, and I was okay with it because you know what? I ain't got time. So whatever little bits she did, it stayed that way. And I would have loved to say I did it all properly afterwards, but I didn't. I didn't.
Oh,
So,
bless her.
Yeah,
I know.
well done.
She
Ishii.
put heart and soul into it as well. Sometimes when
I
you're
know.
like, but sometimes when kids do something and you're like, okay, you can do that, and then they see you redoing their work, it really breaks their heart,
Exactly.
doesn't it?
That's why I did it, really.
That's why,
That's
really.
why I do my own Christmas tree and they do their own.
I thought your Christmas tree, I was like, you know what, kid, when I looked at a picture of her Christmas tree, I was like, kids ain't been anywhere near that. It's too
Nowhere near
nice.
it.
Kids have
Or at the back, at the very back, where no one's
Or
gonna
you
see.
you spin it around.
facing the wall. Yeah, that's your really
Yeah,
creative bit.
exactly. I'd like to say that I'm really impart this knowledge to my children about, this is how you do laundry, or but I just need the help. I just need the help. And the byproduct
You need
is,
your own like 7 army at home.
and the byproduct is they're also getting to learn, like, they should, as they should. Yeah.
But don't you find that when we were younger, we were just conditioned into stuff? Like we didn't have to
You
be
got a slap if you didn't do it.
Yeah, it was just like you. Like my mum's got
It's a
this
threat of
saying that
violence.
her parents, that my grandfather used to use with them, is "Kutta bhi pooch la ke baithta," like so, like he cleans before he sits, right, with his tail. So she always says that to us as well, and it's like, and so you like before you sit and relax in this house, it's like it's, and I'm trying to change it a bit because it's too much. That it's before you can relax, you have to make sure everything's done. So if there's a bit of whatever, like my mom and dad, like you go into the kitchen, I might put a mug down in the kitchen and I think I'm going to have, or I might make my breakfast, leave the frying pan there. And I thought I'm going to eat everything and I'll wash up everything in one go. Don't like the frying pan there, washed it up. And I'm like, chill. Like, just like, chill.
Yeah,
I'm going to be like 15 minutes and
done.
Just calm down. That kind of like, sometimes they take it too much and then making you feel guilty. Then because of that whole thing, you like constantly thinking, oh my god, should I wash this up now? It's that whole, even now at my age with my parents, I'm thinking like that. But the thing is, they don't care about the rest of the house. It's the kitchen sink. But
everyone's got their thing. But I think that you do need to, if you don't want to be cleaning up constantly, and I could be, and people would be very happy with me to do everything constantly, and I'm not doing it. Therefore, I've had to drop my standards slightly and be okay with a certain level of mess in the house. I used to be like, oh, I don't want one sink in the one dish in the sink, like your parents. When I go to bed, it has to be clean for me to come down in the morning. I'm too tired. So sometimes I'm like,
I still don't do that. After a bit, if we've had a no, I still don't do that. If I'm,
what do you mean?
Actually, in the week I do, but on the weekend, if we've had a few drinks and we've had a nice really dinner and we've watched a movie, I'm not going to stand there now
then
for half an
stand
hour
there and clean
and
up.
wash
Yeah,
everything.
that's what
No,
I'm saying.
I'll
It's
do it in the morning. I'd rather do it in the
relax.
morning.
You need to like relax
Exactly.
and not be so like whoa. This
Yeah,
not
but then
militantly
if you
doing
live
stuff.
but then could you do that, right? Because your parents would be like, you got to do this.
No,
When
I
I
do
lived
it.
with my
I do it.
mother-in-law,
If
I
I'm the
didn't do
last
that.
person
I'd clean
up,
it first.
so
Yeah.
no, if I'm the last person up, I will. If I'm at somebody else's house cleaning, then I will clean. Like, I'll
Yeah,
make
that's
sure the sink's
standard.
and that's different. But it's like, but I'll get the whole gang to come into the kitchen and everybody will be doing something. I won't be doing it by myself. Hell no. But yeah, I do. I leave stuff in the sink at night sometimes. If I've been like with my laptop downstairs working, so I don't disturb anybody upstairs while I'm working, because I'm constantly going down to the kitchen for snacks.
My mum-in-law said to me once that if you don't clean the bande before you go to bed, ghosts come and eat from your
Oh
plate.
yeah, I've got a mommy G that does that. I've got a mommy G who
What
says
the
stuff
hell?
like that. Yeah, who says old school stuff like that to us about the plants and everything. And
They'd have a feast at your house, Rena.
yeah, they would. Can you imagine? You must have a few like walking around the night.
That's a good way to
people.
But those
You
were
know,
things
like,
that just scare people to do stuff back in the day. They used to use those
That's
scare
what I'm saying.
tactics on
That's
kids, right?
But you know, like, keeping tidy is all really like, you know, people, you know, use it as their crutch, right, for mental health. Like with, you know,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Mrs. Hinch.
absolutely.
Look how popular Mrs. Hinch is, right? Like her whole thing started off, you know, shining her sink. That gave her joy, right? So, and she's got millions and millions of followers now. And I think it does. You have to be in the mood. Can't say I do it all the time, but there are times where I'll easily now as well. You put a podcast on, put some music on, and do it. But you've got to be in the mood, mate.
And that's what
Cleaning, cleaning can be an escape from work. Like sometimes, you know, it's, for me, I sometimes to procrastinate on a big piece of work that I don't really want to touch, I'll always find things to do that I wouldn't do around the house otherwise.
Yeah. But
Like,
then I use it as
let me
thinking
clean
time.
the kitchen drawer or something like that. It's like, let me just organize the kitchen drawer before I do this
Or the
piece of work.
Tupperware drawer.
Yeah.
Let me just match a tub with its lid, and then I will do this.
That whole puzzle, right, is really satisfying, and it's like it needed to be done before I did my work. So your procrastination, but I do think for work, like, before I start my work, I can't work in a messy room because my head's all over the place.
Yeah.
So that thing is really, for me, really important because I do a lot of my work in my bedroom, because that's where my desk and stuff is. Generally, at least the bed has to be done at the very, very least. You know, as my laundry might not be away because it's my worst chore, but it might be sitting in a pile in the corner ready to be going to wherever it needs to. But, you know, it'll still be tidy. It'll still be organized. I still know what's in the pile.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Do you know how you know we're talking about all this, and we obviously clean our own houses and stuff like that? Like, I don't know if you have a cleaner at the moment, Romy, but I don't. And I had a cleaner on one weekend, but then I don't know if she went AWOL, or like, were we that bad or something? I don't know. Anyway,
just scared her.
There's a cleaner-shaped hole in your door.
Yeah. No, but that was such a great weekend because I took my kids to a birthday party, and when I came back, the house was clean. I was like, this is a life I want to be leading. I want to be leading the life where I can do nice quality things with my children, come back to a clean house. And also, it's like, sometimes I'm like, in this country, there's that expectation of, oh, you know what, like, we'll do everything ourselves. And if you've got a cleaner, it's like, oh, wow, you must be like super rich or something, or why don't you just do it yourself? It's like,
I think it's
you know,
changing.
my family in India, they're not really rich. They're just like, you know, just middle class, just normal people, modest people. Everybody's got a maid. And it's like, you would never dream of doing everything yourself. The maid will come, you know, they'll leave one day in the sink overnight. Some people, some of my family be like, do you know what? The maid's coming in the morning. We need to give her something to do. Let the maid do it. The maid's going to help with the cooking. And the maid is like, as well, you know, they will actually treat their maids really nice because they know, you know what, we need this person. And that maid is obviously like, oh, you've given me an income. Sometimes people educate their kids with that money and stuff. So there's a quite most people, normal people, have quite a nice,
it's employment, and
exactly.
it works for everyone. But the thing is, it used to be like that here in the UK until all the mod cons came. If you ever watched like Going Back in Time, that series on BBC Two that they do, and it's really, I mean, we did stuff like that at school as well growing up. So I love, that's why I love history, because it teaches us so much about ourselves. But everyone had standard, pretty much a maid or something, or help in some way, or did something, or while the women, and things obviously changed when all the mod cons came in, the washing machines and stuff, and people did away with that expense. And now that spare time that was used for leisure is now being pumped into work, where like now you even need maids to like help you do the stuff despite the mod cons, right?
Yeah, of course,
because we've used that leisure time has been converted to working time, and that whole, and I think that's really dangerous, because it is work culture, work, business. Sundays aren't Sundays anymore. It's all gone into commercial everything, and it's like every spare moment, how do we make money? And
the thing is, if you want to do that, and if you want to live that life, even if you've got children and you want to do things with them, I do feel like, I think that we and I'm saying this to myself as well, right, that we need to have a mentality of like, you can't do everything and you can't be a specialist at everything.
No.
And it's okay to then be like, you know what, you do the cleaning, I'm going to pay you, and I'll buy a few less clothes this month or this couple of months, and that will be the wage for my cleaner to get some help. Because when I look at my family who like live in India and Ghana, that's the life that they're living. You know, they have people employed like drivers, cleaners, this, that, and they help. They're not killing themselves doing everything themselves. They're not. And trust me, if I have a cleaner, there'll still be like 50 tons of laundry and other randomness to do.
You still need to do, yeah.
That's what I have. So I have a cleaner for an hour a week, and in that hour, they clean the bathrooms and toilets. That's all they do, because it's only an hour, and I can't really. I can't really afford to have them more than that, really, because cleaners are so expensive. You know, or you know, if you want to pay your cleaner well, like a decent wage, right? You don't want to pay somebody £10 an hour. You want to pay them a decent wage, but then so I've got what I can afford, and they will do the bathrooms. But then that doesn't include the dusting or the floors or the laundry or anything like that. So,
but it's something.
But that's quite recent. That's like in the last sort of no, it's been a year. It's been a year, and I love them for it. Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. It just means
it just takes away that much less that you have to do, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that is really good, and I respect that fact that, you know, you're like, yes, I need help. But everybody that I do, I've convinced 3 of my cousins to get cleaners, and I haven't got one myself. Like, what am I? I've literally, and then I don't know. And one of my cousins was like, what are you doing? Let's make a plan. By February, which is like soon, you're gonna have a cleaner.
Tomorrow.
It's like tomorrow.
Agency on the phone now.
But
I will, because it's too much. It's too much. And you know, like I said, you can move your budgets around a little bit so you can have a little bit of help, right?
But I think I don't know, in like down here, it's like so common. Like I always feel shocked. My next door neighbor, she's got a brand spanking new house. They redid it all, and she has a cleaner, and her house is clean anyway. She's only got her and 2 kids in there, and they're hardly ever there half the time. And she doesn't cook properly. Like she does like baking and oven stuff and things like that, but they go to her mum's house to eat regularly and stuff, or her mum sends food over and stuff. And it's like, why then? Yeah. And but then they've got a cleaner on top of that.
Yeah.
And I just
like
not
really and have them. Yeah.
No,
I know it's hard to then not have them when you think, oh, I'm going back to cleaning bathrooms again.
I think
no, I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm not saying that I'm just saying for somebody who like in low income, like they've still got somebody that comes in and does all of that, right? When you think actually she probably could do without it, like from like a lifestyle perspective, you probably could do without it. But you know, it's that balance of, you know, your creature comforts, or you know, those things, and it's people weighing up for themselves. You know, do I want to be doing that, or would I rather somebody else just did it? You know, there's that whole that whole thing. And there's that whole princess mentality as well. Some people just won't, because they've not had to do it ever before. So sometimes they just don't know how to, or if you don't know how, you just get somebody who does, right? Rather than learn it. So
absolutely. Anyway, my darlings, I'm going to leave that there because we've gone over our usual hour. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing, as always. And thank you to those who've tuned in. Thank you for listening. And make sure you follow me on @Sisterhood of MummyImperfect. That's the Instagram page for the podcast. So there's going to be like loads of clips and exclusive content on there. There's a Mummy Imperfect Facebook page as well. If you want to have a look at that. But yeah, share this episode. Make sure you subscribed, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.